uncontested marks. But right now, it's going to be a challenge right through the middle. We look forward to those contests, those one-on-ones you spoke about pre-match.
So a good portion of Blues fans in at the MCG. Underway. Dockers win. They're in the 8. Carlton win.
Carlton.
They keep their mathematical chances of playing finals alive. And De Koning is going to get the early clearance. Gave it to Stocker, and he wobbles one towards half forward. It nearly worked. Aish got a hand on it, knocked it down. Brayshaw, Tucker. Little bouncer to Schultz, caught by Saad, dropped it, picked up by Dow. Coming off one of the best games of his career. Silvani to Casbolt, who's back in. And Levi heads to the pocket to Mackay. The hot hand held it long enough.
Yeah, I think he whacked his arm as well, but it's probably... This is almost like being directly in front for Harry Dermott, because this is his preferred motion around the corner.
He's such a big kick too that most players sort of run out of their range, their distance from snapping around the corner from this sort of distance out. Doesn't really faze him.
Yeah, running at about 75% with the hook kick this season. Harry Mackay, more accurate than his drop punt. It has been. Oh, hits the post. Gave it a run. It would have been nice to get one in the bank early.
But they were able to move the ball with uncontested marks, essentially, from the middle of the ground to the goal square. The Dockers would want to push up a little bit better than that.
Wilson entrusted with the kick in. Took his full allotment of time. Heads long. Tracy is target, although Darcy front spot and De Koning also in the general vicinity. Fife went to ground.
You see Cripps just creeping into screen there. He was shoulder to shoulder with Fife, but Walters came up and put the body block on and allowed Fife to run to the drop of that footy.
It's the wrong, really working hard to get onto Sam Walsh.
Dow, nice little 1-2 with Cripps. Spears it towards Casbolt. Might get it anyway. Well, not down to Silvani. To Curnow. Sees the option inside. Martin. Beautiful delivery by Ed.
Better vision. Even better vision. Off 2 steps, Dwayne, as you call it. Great delivery, but the vision to see him. Most players, when they're inside forward 50, this time in the game, get on the board, hit the board, impact something. But to just lower the eyes, see that target off 2 steps, wonderful.
So Jack Martin, 5 goals to this season from directly out. Struck it pretty well. Missed. So 2 chances to get one in the bank for the Blues.
And they haven't looked like it right now, the Fremantle Dockers. They'd want to start to, just for their own confidence, get some football, maintain possession, get it forward to the wing.
Wilson again. Pulls the kick shorter to Aish this time. He disguised it pretty well and then overcooked it over Aish's head. So Nunes sends the Blues back to the pocket. Harry got up there and Eddie nearly crumbed it. All in.
Yeah, great spoil by Pearce, and that's the difference with Harry. He's got a big brute right beside him.
Big pack around it. Cripps and Fife side by side again for this ball in. Casbolt doing the ruck work against Darcy. Low, thrown off the kick. Dow had plenty of it early. And he lays a good tackle with Kennedy here on Tucker. Ball.
Well, Kennedy also was excellent last week. And all those players that were under scrutiny have been out of the side a lot this season. Had good games last week. Paddy Dow and Kennedy in particular were excellent. Good to see De Koning coming back in, and we're going to see him and Sean Pearce going head-to-head for the next decade as 2 of the primary ruckmen in the competition.
It's had a good fortnight, Eddie Kennedy.
Yeah, game 6 for the year. Hasn't kicked a goal so far this year. And he finally delivers for the Blues.
And they are away, and for those people sitting at home in Perth having a look at the Dockers, there's no wind here. This is not an issue of climate. It is simply your side is getting absolutely beaten to the ball. Every contest ball has been won by Carlton, and they're just playing in their front half right now. They're more aggressive at the footy, and the Purple Haze needs to wake up and wake up quickly. Yet to go inside their forward 50. It's 3 inside forward 50s for Carlton and 3 direct shots on goal.
Matty Kennedy's last fortnight is pretty good. Hasn't really been given too much of the task they brought into the club for. This big body support role for Cripps. He's been tried in other areas. Let him play the way he was designed to.
Umpires just play on, and Fife is dumped. Great tackle from Kennedy after a slightly offset a bounce. The umpire let roll. Darcy on the bottom of it. De Koning over him with an arm up, calling a cab, and it's a ball up.
Yeah, he's a big-bodied midfielder, Matty Kennedy.
And both got a piece of that. Down to Kennedy. Nearly had it and got away with it. Again, Dow in the middle of that. And comes out to Dow in the end. And he shoots it back to Kennedy. And they're away again, the Blues. Getting back, though, taking a good grab in defence, Ryan. You read that well. So some ownership of the Sharon here. Brayshaw, Aish, Wilson. He's got Walker running for him. Used him nicely. He can kick it over the top. He's got Tracy, who's in a pretty good spot. And well played by Jones. He got back and got a set of knuckles on it and got it out.
Just didn't get enough penetration on the kick there, Brandon Walker. No, on the fly, he probably kicked it 40 metres at the most. Had to be a 50-metre kick to get it right over for an uncontested mark.
Tracy was in a good spot.
Finally, an inside 50 for Fremantle. Darcy down in the Fife direction. He's got it, but Stocker's got him and not letting him go anywhere.
No, it's a great transition by the Dockers. It showed that they're here and they're alive and they're up and about, because it's been well hidden to date. But another dumping tackle on Fife. It's as if they've been told every chance you get.
Well, no, he's got a shoulder issue. As long as you do it legally, it's legal. So free kick in the pocket over the shoulder. Fife having a chat to Stocker. In the meantime, Chera will consider what options he's got here to think his way through it. He's going to hook kick it. Kennedy runs. Well, Kennedy didn't run in at him and put any pressure on, and he still missed it to the near side. So the Blues dodge a bullet.
It's amazing how the game changes so much. Nick Newman, they genuinely concede 25 metres from the goal square kick in.
Kennedy started well again.
There's a strong mark under a fair bit of pressure.
Short Walsh, that's a good grab as well. And he's off and running. Didn't waste any time. He's got Wiedering out in full flight. He heads Plowman toward the boundary and into space. Schultz can't hold him up, but he got a fingernail on it. It rolls its way to Curnow. Sees lob coming at him. Puts it on the boot towards Martin. Manhandled illegally.
They've got numbers back already, the Dockers. So they've covered up pretty well to this change of direction.
There's a great battle going on between Sam Walsh and young Sarong. They've both done a couple of kilometres already. At the moment, Walsh is leading the charge.
The last two NAB Rising Star winners head-to-head as Fogarty heads toward Casbolt, De Koning, Eddie Betts. So that will be a good battle, Sarong and Walsh.
And the way that the Dockers can help Sarong out is by, when they get possession, he charges. If he's in the right spot, give it to him and let him burn Walsh the other way, because Walsh is doing the opposite.
And by age, Walsh is still eligible for the NAB Rising Star. Of course, he's well over the game's limit, but he turned 21 this week. Henry crashes the pack, knocks it down. Walters looks up, takes some time to think his way through it. Bounced it to Tracy. He tried to flick it to Henry, didn't work. Newman, Stocker. Williamson back into the lineup for the Blues this week. Floats it towards, well, Jones is down there, got a hand on it. Casbolt the knock on, Brayshaw. Aish. Who jumps at this? Newman jumped on his lonesome. Henry decided to try and crumb it, but it didn't come down as a crumb. Curnow floats it long, and he found Martin, who dived. Ryan. Bounce pass was delightful to Pearce, but he spent that before it hurt it. Martin danced into it and found its way to Eddie Betts.
Self-inflicted wounds here from the Dockers, and it started with Aish. It was a horrible kick going forward. It was to two small fellows. There was some other unattended options, and then on the rebound, a couple of defensive possessions essentially just gave the ball back to the Blues.
Curnow could have just dabbed a 15-metre kick to Big Harry. He's in a great spot. He went for the more difficult but closer to goal recipient.
34 years young, Eddie Betts, and he's still got it.
Yeah, well, that one just started off the half-back line. It was an attacking foray by the Fremantle Doctors, well defended by Carlton, and they're looking really sharp inside their forward 50 right now. Eddie Betts was on the end of this one, but their ball movement it's not precise, but it's giving them an opportunity inside the forward 50, and this is what I'm talking about doing. The Ryan handball underneath, just a fumble there from Pearce. Good pressure, Carlton.
Some danger signs early for Fremantle.
Just haven't settled. Just need to settle into the game, play a little bit safe. You play straight lines, get your big man down the line, contest, scrap it out. Just play safe for another 4 or 5 minutes. Work your way into the game.
Bounce favoured Darcy. Casbolt didn't go for it, and the umpire calls for it back. Nathan Williamson.
Got to get their hands on the ball, though. They're really struggling. Mundy now on the ground, which will help.
Darcy down to Mundy, just as you called it. Cripps attacked it, kept it in front. Mundy lays the tackle with Brayshaw's help. Carlton fans in full voice early. Darcy down to 5. 5-3 was held before he got it. Darcy. Tracy and Lobb leading. It's in Lobb's direction, and Tracy in the end had a chance to get it as well. Plowman can knock this through with ease. Blues can keep their mathematical chances of making the 8 alive with a win. And the players are the last ones to give up on a chance to play finals as Darcy gets some airtime over the back. Not an unrealistic leap. Ball in.
That depends on how you define unrealistic. He was never going to mark it.
Yeah, every mark of the year has started with an unrealistic leap.
Eddie Betts, and he torps it long, but low, gets back. Open side, Brayshaw runs hard for him.
Good defensive positioning there by Griffin Logue. He's a big improver. He's on the way. Brendan Cox knocking aside Dermot. The future's bright for Freo if they can keep this group together and just add a couple here and there.
Oh, they've got some good players.
So Tucker back to Brayshaw.
That said, they're well off the pace at the present time, and the Blues are giving them a bit of a lesson at winning the ball.
So Lobb gets there, good hands.
Well, Darcy's pushed forward.
And he sends it well. It's a horrible kick, but it might still work. It doesn't. Plowman read it to perfection. Knocked it to Wiedering. Bends it around in the Casbolt direction. Lobb took him down, but it's found its way to Fogarty. He can't get a handle through the traffic. Ball in.
Really clever play there by Lockie Plowman. If he takes possession, he's going to get nutted. So he just basically volleyball spiked it. Oh, not so much a spike, but just set it over the top.
Levi Casbolt's been caught out twice and with no punishment meted out by the Dockers at this point in time. He's got to watch where his positioning starts from.
Good dance step by Petrovski-Seton after Dow gave it to him. So another clearance for Paddy Dow, who, as we've mentioned, coming off the best game of his career. And he floats in for this, made the commitment. Fife caught, dropped it, gone.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes to win the ball, no prior opportunity, but when you put your hand up to fend and protect yourself, then you've got to get a perfect possession away.
Walsh to the pocket. Can Mackay get near it? He can't. And Aish takes the saving grab.
Good harassment by Alex Pearce. Just put enough body, nagging body and contact on Big Harry so he could not make that contest.
Fife.
Yeah, it was a clever kick. He knew Fife had the boundary, so he didn't kick it at him. He kicked it to the space, and Fife just drifted us to the side and got an uncontested mark.
Back to Logue. Fife gets a bill or two, which is a little weird. Didn't play when these teams met in round 3 this year. Carlton winning that one by 45 points at Marvel Stadium last time these two teams met. Akers. Fife out from that one with concussion. Akers caught. Nunes had him. He got it up to Ryan. Heads in the Tracy direction, beaten by Jones, who beats most. Having another outstanding season. 10 intercept possessions in the win last week against Adelaide for Carlton, Liam Jones.
So if Tracy's done his homework and he looked last week at the way that Jones played and played particularly well, he's going to get on the move. He just can't get in a wrestle. Not many people can out-wrestle Liam Jones.
Curnow, aggressive inside kick, but that's what the Blues have been trying to do. Fife, Petreski, Seaton. Fife almost met high by Casbolt, but he didn't overcommit to it. Williamson to Plowman to Kennedy. Bewley made him earn it. Walsh. Some room. Chera gave him a little bit too much, and Owies to send the Blues towards attacking 50. He sits it up towards Mackay. Wrestled. And it's a free kick against Mackay. Going to Pearce.
Started well, Pearce. We've just had him in the binoculars, the way he's playing Harry Mackay. He's just sort of getting that little bit of nagging body contact on a half scrag, a half tug, and Harry's replying with a bigger scrag and a bigger tug, which gets seen by the umpire.
Switkowski had to go, and no one going anywhere.
One of the more impressive elements of the Blues play tonight is their defence. It's been under incredible scrutiny right throughout the season. Been picked apart by every analyst and videotaped in slow mode. And yet right now, Dermot, they're playing man on man. There's no extras back there, but they're winning those man on man battles.
From the flick down, Akers did nicely. Handball over the top to Walker. Heads in the Tracy direction again, and this time he gets it to him. Can't take the mark though. Spoil from Jones. Got there at the last second. Newman dumped. Jones tried to rip it free. Umpire to sort it out again.
What a solid tackle by Lockie Schultz. That is a powerhouse slam.
Akers with a little flick back was nice.
And just on Josh Tracy as well. That's the kind of lead you're talking for him. He did really well. I mean, Jones has got good closing speed, but he did well to get on the bike. He ran across the ground laterally to get on the end of that kick.
Off the head of Akers, down to Dow, caught, somehow got a handball. Collier almost missed his boot with a kick attempt. Fife, great commitment from Martin and Fife, both went hard. And a good tester for the Fife shoulder that.
Oh, he's had a few test outs already, Nathan, hasn't he? He's stood up to everything so far.
Well, he nearly played last week, was a late withdrawal. Chera goes back. And gets it for the clearance. Lob's direction, Wiedering front spot. Boundary line his friend, and he knew it.
It's just even that kick there. Now, Rory Lobb is 205 centimetres. Jacob Wiedering's a big fellow himself, but 205, you don't want it out hard on the lead to beat Wiedering with pace. He's got a one out, stick it on his head, and let him outstretch him.
Casbolt got a big piece of it. Chera ran into a roadblock. Dow another possession to Williamson. Aish about to float into this. He saw the edge out of Harry Mackay. Silvani took it away and went. Now Owies is a 1-on-3. Getting back low. Walker with a flick back. Still Owies pursuing it. Bewley got there. Gave it to Logue. Still Owies pursues. Back to Bewley. And the pressure was good. Might have caused a turnover. Through Plowman though. He let it roll. Off hands. Walters about to run on to the handball. Fife. Walters. It was always going to be his. And he can't finish.
He's just battling to find the goals right now, Michael Walters.
He didn't miss too many in warm-up. We were out there. Charity was striking them beautifully.
It's a good turnover, though. Blues nearly conceded a really bad one.
Kennedy got the sit and the crumb. Walsh, De Koning. Again, that aggressive inside kick, but it works again. Fogarty. It's got Cripps out wide. Sees him. Cripps Eddie Betts might jump here. He stayed down front and square. Didn't quite come to him. Mundy. Room to move, but took too much time. Saad about to pounce. Little toe poke off the deck. Gets it to Dow. Spear pass. Silvani.
Well, this is the best quarter Paddy Dow has ever played for Carlton.
I was wrapped in his game last week.
Yeah, he was good, but he's taken it up to another level. He's BOG right now.
Had 20 possessions last week and 9 score involvements last week, Paddy Dow.
Well, here's another one.
Well, he's had 9 possessions so far, Dwayne, with 3 score involvements early, and he's about to get 4.
Silvani, who was out there for about an hour pre-game. He was the earliest out there having shots, and he was the last one to leave the oval. He's got 4 goals, 10 so far this year. That's why he was out there for an hour. He's now got 5 goals, 10.
Now, if I can just analyse this Carlton forward line at the moment, the long ball in there to Harry Mackay is not working at the moment. I actually think Alex Pearce has got him under control, and Harry's been in wonderful form. What is hurting the Dockers' defence is this kick. A low, sharp jab into a leading target, because the Dockers are trying to fold and soak back off them and go for that long intercept.
And the celebration, they were practicing pre-game as well. Who says practice doesn't help? It's all in the head. He was out there for a long time from different spots trying to get it right.
Paddy Dow, what a quarter footy he's putting in here on back of last week's game. 51, 52 games. It's taken him a while to find his feet, but he looks very comfortable now.
Darcy with the palm down, but again, Fremantle don't get the clearance. Little flick back to Cripps was nice from Petrovski-Seton. Going back to go forward, Saad. Petrovski-Seton. Oh, caught! He zigged when he should have zagged, but Saad does a bit of zigging and zagging of his own. Found Jones.
Yeah, Akers missed the trick there. They had to block the hands.
Long towards Nunes. Got the float. Hard commitment from Bewley, and he's hurt. Williamson looks up. Spear pass from him to Mackay. Sarong. Mundy. Fremantle need a hero in a hurry here to stop the bleeding. Inside kick is good from Tucker to Darcy. Schultz.
Oh, that studs up.
The boot up leap.
Yep. Yep, that studs up. It's almost a tunnelling motion, Wayne, isn't it? Yep.
So if he marks that, does it get taken off him?
Probably.
De Koning.
Oh, I'm not going to.
Little handball, long handball over the top to Williamson. He heads goal square. Big fist, wow. Pearce.
How good was Pearce's pace covering and shutting down that ball? He went past Big Harry. Let's have a look at this. Watch the right foot. You know what he was trying to do. There was no malice in it. He was trying to move his opponent under the ball and give himself a better chance. Yeah, Pearce's pace is up, which is great. I mean, he's had a wretched run with injuries in those knees, but he's some sort of player if they can get him 100% fit.
Tracy.
Been really impressive, this kid. The big kahuna, Dwayne, I know you really like him. And a bloke named the Big Kahuna is going to take up the challenge and probably wrestle anyone to death. But he's doing better now when he's on the move.
Heads toward the wing. Carlton had the numbers there, and it's thumped out of play.
And this is where they're they're breaking down a little bit. The Dockers, they're going okay, really rebounding outside of their defensive 50, but they're not being able to connect into their forward 50 and set up a shot at goal.
De Koning and Darcy. Tucker. Schultz's direction. Had to wait for an ugly bounce, and Williamson knew it was always going to take him down.
And Dwayne, what we're seeing at ground level is 2 different styles with their defence. The Freo Dockers like to have a spare behind the football. They love to play back shoulder. At the other end of the ground, the Blues want to be really proactive, come up in front of their forwards and try and get those intercept marks like they did last week.
Koning worked his way to the front. Curnow came up with it. The wobbler that fortuitously found the man playing in front. Silvani heads in the Mackay direction, engaged the body, and he did it illegally. Pearce's fault.
See, that's Pearce's pace. Harry had the spot, he had the position, but Pearce's pace at that length of man, 2 metres himself, he's able to get there and draw that out of Harry.
Akers.
I dare say, if Pearce isn't out, he's probably saved another 2 or 3 just by his presence and able to shut down the Leeds and Harry's effect on the incoming ball. Now, Harry dwarfs everyone. He's not been dwarfed, Alex Pearce.
He's your leader in the race for the Coleman at the moment, Harry Mackay. Dow again, rips it clear, gave it to Cripps, wobbled one, and Silvani's got it on 50.
Another short kick inside 50. Levi might sneak away here if he can get a bit of separation, because everyone's going to Big Harry.
So most of Silvani's shots pre-game were from a little closer than this. He struck the last one beautifully. In the dying stages of an opening turn owned by the Blues. Sends it long. Is it strong enough? They're all up to Koning. Landed like a cat and keeps a ripper.
He got separation then, Jared. Big Darcy stayed 5 metres out from the goal line. De Koning came off the near point post, and that afforded him a run and jump. So we'll watch this. This is the kick that goes in. And how good was Dow once again? Bang, bang, bang. That acceleration pace away from there. But De Koning's run and jump has made that. Watch him.
And that's why they're not far away. So a quick message to the independent external review team. This is a side that isn't that far away. And one of the reasons is Tom De Koning. He looks to me like a generational talent. He's not there yet, but he is coming at 100 miles an hour.
Paddy Dow's another piece of the missing jigsaw puzzle to fit into it.
Well, Sam Petreski-Seaton, he was recruited as a midfielder. He's actually playing now midfield.
Dow put his head down, was lucky to get away with that. De Koning floats one wide. Curnow about to collect it. Looks up. He's got Walsh short. Floats it in front. He takes the grab on Fife. By the way, one of those reviewers, Jared, sitting home watching, was reviewing Carlton but barracking for Fremantle. Early leap from Eddie. Can't take the mark. And not unrealistic. Nothing's unrealistic when it comes to when he bets.
It's a great tackle. Oh, they've got, what are they saying the old days? They've got their dander up now, haven't they? Eddie went for the jump, and watch how he comes back to life and lays the tackle.
Brayshaw to Ryan. That'll be out on the full.
Well, we spoke about the pressure, Dwayne, pre-match. The Blues have come with plenty of heat. And they're applying it in and around the loose ball and winning plenty of it.
Curnow long. Mackay's about to pounce. Casbolt almost got on his way. Cripps. Smothered by
hurt his
Walker.
leg, that will hurt his ankle.
Yep.
And he's taking a long time to get up.
He too is a big man, and it does take a while for him to get the ball to boot. Got smothered. Yeah, that'll be a sprain there.
Darcy got it down to Ryan. Heads long. Tracy in a one-on-one with Jones. Jones has been winning most of those this year. Collier off and running. He's got Henry ahead of the ball. Puts it out in Henry's direction. Got it.
Smart play here and good coaching by Longmuir. They have struggled with the tall deep, so they've gone with the small. And it was excellent work. He may well have done a syndesmosis with that particular action. He's hobbling off the Carlton.
He knew straight away.
Yep.
That is a big sprain or worse. Fingers crossed.
So as the seconds tick down towards quarter time, Liam Henry, their next-gen academy star, can't deliver.
Let's have a look at this smother that turned into a minor catastrophe at this stage. Watch the right foot. Oh, yeah. Gee, that's going to hurt Walker's shin. He kicked it into. But when it just makes your toe go back beyond where it should.
Ball blasted in the Mackay, De Koning direction. Kennedy front and square. Ridden in the tackle, but not enough for a free.
Having said that too, Dwayne, with Cripps off now, this is exactly the reason why you go out and recruit Matty Kennedy. A bull goes off and you put more onus on somebody you recruited as a big-bodied midfielder.
Aish sends it to half forward, but the Sirens should beat them. So bittersweet pitches for the Blues. The scoreboard looks great. 4-2-26 to 4 behinds at quarter time at the MCG. But Patrick Cripps down in the room's injured. Stick around. Big second term coming up next. 40,000 in the house. Well, the Dockers got next.
If you're coaching Carlton and you're kicking 4 a game in this style and you're giving up 1 a quarter out the back only, you're prepared to wear that.
All clearances have gone the way. Centre clearances have gone the way of the Blues today.
Darcy and DeConing. Darcy, well, he hit the Sharon and then hit the ground hard. Mundy also hits it hard, but hit the deck. Chera, Fife. Heads long towards Slob, but that was well read by Wiedering. He was always on the right side of his opponent. Jones. He's got DeConing and didn't quite get to him. Schultz made the ground to get a hand on it. Fogarty. DeConing. It takes an enormous amount of time. Through Pearce to Ryan. Bounced it toward the boundary, and Walsh coming off a great first term again. Wobbles one to half forward. Cripps, he looks fine now. Pounced on it, gave it to Mackay, danced inside, handed it up. Known goal kicker always. He's having a great season too.
Well, that was impressive, Derm. Really impressive ball movement by the Blues. And Sean Darcy, he hit the ground really hard after this from DeConing. That's a genuine attempt and contest by both guys, but Darcy the worse for wear, and DeConing's got his measure at the present time. His athleticism really impressive, and that was impressive as well. Yeah, good running. That ankle may have had some assistance, but
does it work that quick?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it actually has added a yard or two.
Good finish.
Yeah, it's a good story, Matthew O. He's 24 years of age in just his 10th game, the Category B rookie. Coming from basketball, as Blues fans know. Ball slammed to the deck. Darcy got up and couldn't get the Sharon. Cripps got it and Mundy got him. Chera with the clearance. Spears it down the spine, hoping for Henry. Got there low for the half volley. Walters lays a high tackle.
Question mark for you, Derm. Sarong's had 1 possession. Walsh has still been effective with 7. I mean, right now, all he's doing is running around Walsh. Walsh a better runner than him right now. We're seeing him on screen. He's got him covered for pace. I reckon they're losing here. They've got to release him. And just probably better off going 30 v 30 rather than trying to restrict Walsh to a 15.
We've seen that Walsh has suffered a few tags of late. He's just accumulating the ball. In the last 6 or so weeks, he's really starting to make a stamp on this competition. We know he's been good for a long time. He's getting run with players.
He's taken his run, I think, to another level in this role against a direct tag. But at what cost to the Dockers from Sarong, who's a hell of a play in his own right.
Kennedy told to go. He hits Walsh. Lace out with a bullet. He to Petrovsky-Seaton. Mundy doing the chasing, holds him up. Cripps led short. That was ignored. Walsh led short.
He's got him beaten already. He is not quite knowing what the role is at the moment. Sarong is all over the shop. Doesn't know whether he's tagging or he's to pick him up when he's lost the tag. He's ineffective.
Well, Walsh had 37 possessions round 3 when these two teams met. So they should know how effective he can be. Ball to the back. Danger here again for Fremantle. Casbold looked inside, caught by the arm. Didn't get a kick away.
At the centre bounce, Delaney called a player. He made an attempt, so I would have thought that's the rule. You've got to actually get the ball to your boot.
Schultz stands under this. Oh, bang! Stocker took him down. Okay. So the players don't carry on too much. Schultz points to Stocker and says, I know who you are.
Nathan Williams would have probably paid a little bit more than just the mark.
Off hands, Mundy collects and goes. This oozes class and he hits Henry Lace out. Tracy his target, and he hits Tracy on the logo.
Well, that's the best they've looked just about all game. They've got some space and got some dynamic movement in the forward line.
Due to David Mundy, though. He opened it up. He was able to find that split in the traffic, feign a handball away. The split kept going further away from him. Gave him the Ole. Through you come.
7 goals, 7 this season. And this, I need to tell you, is huge. Boy, did he strike that sweep. That was never in doubt.
It's good play. Yeah, Liam Jones didn't really play him back shoulder. I know Nick Del Santo's telling us the way they play down there as a back line, but he definitely drew the line between the ball carrier and the goal square, and that's where he played himself. And Tracy just came up the spine and then came back at the kicker in Walker.
Yeah, that was good movement. Jones just a little bit too much separation. He was covering the square. And
he was trying to cut the angle, Jones, but he just gave Tracy a little bit too much room, a little bit too much space to work in.
And there's Walsh on the bench at the moment. He's had 8 disposals. And Caleb Sarong just the one.
And the last 2 NAB Rising Star winners, but Walsh with that extra year of experience. Fife nicely to Brayshaw. Heads to Tracy again. Big fist of Jones knocks it down. Stocker pursues it. Knocked away from him. Brayshaw caught a little high, meeting the sandwich. Gone. Holding the ball. Brayshaw claims it was high as well. Cripps' ball.
Strong's now pushed over onto Dow with.
Doesn't that look high to you? Cripps wide and turns it over. Ryan. A little bit of a momentum shift in the game. Fife starting to get his hands on it a bit. Short to Schultz. Henry's long lob calling for it. Shortish. It's in his direction and just clear of him. Darcy is the crummer. Tried to feed it back. Switkowski pushed. No free.
He was near on decapitated there. Switkowski is very unlucky.
Just getting their claws into the contest now, Fremantle.
De Koning and Darcy will flick down to Chera. Gave it up to Sarong. Here's his moment. Needs to nail it. Can't.
But that's what you're going to get when he's not running around looking out for Walsh. And whilst it's a calculated decision by Justin Longmuir, and it's worked as a run with play, sometimes you just got to react to what's happening. And Walsh is off the ground. Sarong immediately has a crack at the goal.
Wiedering.
Switkowski was stiff before Dermott. That was a shocking miss.
Newman, half back. Not getting any home ground decisions.
No.
At the moment, Fremantle. Wide ball towards, Eddie Betts made the ground to get there.
It's a great kick by Nick Newman. He can seriously deliver the ball.
Eddie tight ropes the boundary to Cripps, who gets up and holds it. Logue thought he had him. Petreski-Seaton, a bullet pass. Fogarty looks up. Got Silvani calling for it long. In his direction. Walker gets back, got a hand on it, but left it for Owies. Curnow, Dow. What kind of afternoon is he having?
Oh, they're sharp. They sharpened up the pencil last week, and right now, Dermott, it's pinpoint. It is sharp, and there's a concern here, obviously, with the captain.
Oh, he got punished in the middle of his back when he went for the mark down in front of Nick Del Santo down there. You heard the wind come out of him when he took that mark.
A couple of good handballs from inside too. Out. Silvani continues to work incredibly hard. And Dow the finisher. Silvani doesn't get the credit for the work he does. He's not a high possession winner, but he is a blood and guts worker in that forward line. He's either spoiling or he's harassing. Sometimes he's kicking goals himself.
Nick Dalcedo downstairs.
Yeah, just watched Patrick Cripps take a beautiful grab in front of us, then hobbled straight to the boundary line. He's just walked along the boundary line with the physio, and I overheard him saying it's just hurting to run. So we'll be keeping a close eye on him. He's sitting on the bench at the moment.
Advantage paid. I'm not sure Tucker wanted to go with it. Now he does. And he was under pressure. Walsh nearly got there. Tracy loops a handball long to Bewley, the hero from last week. Beautiful half volley. And he sacked the kick for Plowman to gobble up. All the answers at the moment, the Blues. Plowman all the way back to the back pocket. Newman.
We've got Wiedering on the other side of the ground, so they're outnumbered.
Mackay. Good, strong first touch and then second grab. Collier stopping Sard from running past with the handball. Forced the kick and Darcy gets back. Saving grab.
It's first grab that McKay's taken, and Pearce opted to stay inside defensive 50. McKay came up to be a relief target. Pearce has been the one winner that the Dockers have had during this game so far.
So Mundy gets it from Darcy. Takes some time, doesn't want to waste it, floats it to Schultz, sat it on him a bit, and in the end, Chera made it his own. Lobb leads at him. Gave it some consideration. Heads longer. Tracy's on the move. Jones is with him. Liam Jones again, an intercept mark.
Well, they've got to learn from this, the Dockers, and they've got to pick up some short options. You know, the Crows butchered it last week by doing exactly the same thing.
Half volley from Fife, about to cut it off. Switkowski looks inside, got the handball option. It's about to finish. Schultz, the dance step, second one. Brought him unstuck. Switkowski could have been high again. He's owed one.
Yeah, he is indeed one. Not sure he should have got this one. He ducked, but that's nevertheless, it's 50-50 call. Can he go back and nail it? He desperately needed one.
One of 10 Victorians in this Fremantle 22 that no doubt have a few family and friends in the house. And Switkowski, new contract, and he backpedals knowing how big this kick is. 27 points the margin. Dockers trying to dig their way out of this hole. It's a boo or two. Struck it nicely, bends it back, perfect. Dockers get their second.
It's a good player, Switkowski, Dermot. He's continuing to improve. It's a regular feature of the Dockers side now. Plenty of movement there by Schultz. And he just ducked and tried to get through, but as you said, Dwayne, he was owed one. Good to see the umpire squaring up.
While that was going on, I saw David Mundy talking to Darcy Tucker about delivery of the ball inside 50.
Don't like mentioning the floor in Carlton season, but we know that they can concede goals quickly. You're never really out of the game when you're playing the Blues. If you can get your mojo up and running for a period of time. Cripps back on. Side by side with Brayshaw. Ball back in the hands of Eleni Gloucester. Stumps it into the deck to Koning and Lobb. Down at Cripps. Flicked it to Dow, who gets himself another clearance. Heads to Silvani, and he got there. Almost collected it. Logue, pick up on the run was good. Handball not so, although Walker might make it okay. Back to Logue. Back to Walker. Plenty of space to move. Used his full measure. Wobbles one to half forward. Cut off by Stocker. Still a chance. Walters. Wiedering. Fife. Ball. Advantage is played. Schultz for two within a minute. Dashed his way inside and drills it.
Touched. I reckon that's coming back. I reckon he's touched it on the way through. His hand went up straight away.
Well,
Schultz is claiming one.
The field umpire hasn't called touched, and the goal umpire has given it a goal.
I heard Robert O'Gorman. He was speaking to the Carlton backman. He said they will check it anyway upstairs. So it's hard to ascertain.
Hold play, hold play.
So is that definitive that a finger's bent back there? By
Yes,
the ball?
the two fingers, draw the bowstring fingers, the first, the pointer and the one next to it. They see their
Review complete.
Yep.
Looking at this angle, we can see the ball is touched by the Carlton defender before crossing the back of the goal line. Decision on scoreboard.
So the arcs work pretty well there.
Wait for the Blue supporters. Just took a couple of extra paces, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
He didn't need to, but he did. It was a good effort by Sard, though.
Right decision. The arc's been brought in for exactly that. To get as close to 100% right as possible. Ball wide to Wiedering. Great grab. Chips it down the line. Cripps wanted to go. Looped it nicely to Dow. De Koning got there late. Darcy front spot. Held his ground. Held the Sharon. Also signed a nice long-term deal, Sean Darcy. Stay up the Dockers in the dance step. Delightful around De Koning. Bit of poetry and slow motion from the big guy. Wiedering nearly marked it. Tracy made a contest. Sard collects it to Stocker.
Mulder's a bit hurt as well.
Nunes, Cripps, Dow, who's had his own share to Walsh, to Silvani. It sets up beautifully. Silvani wanders to 50. Eddie Betts waiting at the back. Mackay will do.
Well, it's great transition.
I didn't see that.
Absolutely magnificent transition from the Blues.
And another time that Alex Pearce is drawn towards the footy. So Harry's got somebody of a lesser size and stature to deal with.
And he'll hook kick it from here. The leader in the race for the Coleman gives the Blues a nerve settler.
Kicked it down the chute, down the race there. Yeah, he just got drawn towards the footy, Alex Pearce. Multiple leads, so he's obligated to pick up one coming through. There's
a double whammy because he's
Walters
also been whacked, and that's where the ball was turned over. And really good work rate again.
So you see Pearce there, he's coming to pick up Eddie Betts. So that stops him going back with Harry. Harry gets the great matchup.
Well, it's crisis time now for the Dockers. 7 goals to 2 goals. It's a serious lead right now. They've probably almost equalised in this quarter, but they've given up a pretty big lead. 3 goals to 2. But inaccuracy's been their biggest issue in this term. 2-2 to 3 goals straight.
Darcy reached over the top. Clearance for Sarong. Gets it to half forward. Walters thought he was about to pounce and go, but it was held in nicely. Williamson, a little pat on the head for Stocker. Ball up top of the 50. De Koning and Darcy. Darcy reaches over, knocked it down to Sarong again, and he gets the clearance again. Commitment from players of all angles. Henry pounced on it and left it behind. Still got it, flicked it in. Lob, taken to the line by Williamson. Umpire let it roll, and now it rolls out.
It was really interesting just looking at that last stoppage, Dermot. Paddy Cripps is regarded as a clearance beast.
Yep.
He understands what's going on. It's defensive time, and he was wrapping up David Mundy, who's their most dangerous player getting away from clearance.
Darcy takes it himself, handed it to Switkowski, and the chip kick is wide.
So Cripps is sacrificing his game for the betterment of the group.
He missed on that one. He didn't go through the traffic with his opponent.
Saad, no one came at him, and he floats the kick, and she put Nunes under the hammer. He stood his ground and took the heat. Told to get going. Didn't like what he had on offer by foot. Gets his way around Akers and plants it on the chest of Silvani.
He could have gone up the line, but once again he saw that the Dockers prefer back shoulder, so they are 2 to 3 metres out back of their Carlton lead-up opponents.
Newman to Plowman to Wiedering. Well, maybe not to Wiedering. Maybe to the boundary umpire. On the full.
Only got Nathan Fife as a target down there. Tracy makes his way back there now. Oh, kick it Fife and see what he does.
Lobs it to Fife. Can he get the run and jump? He did, but he missed it. Newman. So a wasted entry for Fremantle. Again, the short pass, or maybe it's not wasted. Switkowski came up with it. What can he do with it? Sits it in the pocket. Lob, caught. Maybe the chaos ball might work for them. Little roller from Walters. Tried to get it towards Henry. He got it, but they've got him. All up.
Bit stiff there, Sonny Walters. It was a really creative kick. Just hit a leg, I think, on the way through.
So Williamson in the hands of trainers at the moment for the Blues. Goes and makes a contest here, but he's a little injured. Stocker comes up with the Sharon, blasts it away. Aish about to pounce on that, and he might go. He's got some space. Darcy's target. Got it! Big grab from the big guy.
Once he's able to make his opponent DeConning, he seems to be jumping over him on most occasions when it's a run and jump contest at a stoppage. But if he can ground him, if he can lock arms with him, watching the box here, keep both his feet on the ground, his bulk is going to keep young DeConning away from the true drop of the ball.
And he does kick more goals on average per game than a lot of ruckmen in the comp. Drifts forward, 8 goals 5 for the season, and he's a good shot when he gets a shot. And Fremantle have a shot again.
He's been one of the really big improvers this season, Dylan. I saw him at the start of the year, and there was a battle going on between him and Meek as to who got the first spot. Meek got it initially, but this bloke has just grabbed this spot, and it's his.
That's a beauty, isn't he?
His kicking's better. He was playing as a forward in those early games, and Meek had the run. And Meek, I think, is a player. I'd be chasing him if I was another club. But this bloke has really charged ahead.
Just a really important left arm he put into the chest of DeConning. Just moved him a half pace to the left, and the ball fell to his right, so it just sheltered the ball drop, and he's able to get to it. He's such a big man. DeConning, with those long levers, still couldn't get the spoiling fist across.
So Darcy with Mundy and Fife, and Chera in the middle for the clearance. DeConning had it but lost it. Fife, Darcy, Mundy, the usual suspects. Hand to Wilson, pulls the drop punt in the Walters direction. Good attack from Wiedering, kept it in front. Still alive for Saad, turned into traffic. Cripps turned into traffic. Gone or legged, one of the two. He's gone.
Good pressure inside forward 50 from the Dockers. Cripps not happy.
So Cripps thought he had him by the knee.
Well, he did at the end.
Umpire said, I don't think so.
It's 15 gone. Yeah, in times gone by, they'd allow Patrick Cripps to get rid of that ball. Might be a new tightening of the time you're in tackle until when you dispose of it.
Adam Chera's been less than 50-50 at goal career. Heads long, and again, he misses another opportunity. That's 13 goals, 20 career, 2 goals, 5 this year. And that was an important kick for momentum.
And Dwayne Lockie Plowman has come from the ground the last couple of minutes. Unsure exactly about what his injury concern is. He's got the jacket on the bench. Matt Cottrell is the medical sub. He hasn't been activated just yet.
Thanks, Dallas. Casbolt crashed it. Fife crumbed it. Gave to Mundy. Normally put it on the chest. Tried to get it to Henry. Free kick. He was met illegally.
Well, he got tunnelled from side on, man. That was a genuine contest. What we will look at is the free kick from the trailing player from behind. Crowd have just seen it. Disagree, but they're broken. Now we're going to look here. Is there a touch from Nick Newman? Because I reckon that's a genuine enough attempt coming in from the side for the contest. That's a little fortunate.
Takes a deep breath. Takes his full allotment of time. Massive kick. For a couple in a row for Fremantle. He hung it out for the right a little. And then it was beautiful in the end.
Well, a good couple of minutes here from the Dockers, making the most of a couple of probably lucky decisions. This is the best bloke kicking inside forward 50 still in the game. Hard to see where the push was.
Yeah, well, it is against
Tunnel, but it was incidental.
It's against Jones. Is it a disguised attempt with the right fist that was never really trying to truly spoil, and it's just a body takeout?
Two goals in a row for Fremantle, 4 scoring shots in a row for Fremantle. As they begin the run back. It's a 2-goal game, 12 points the margin. Good bounce, Darcy to Koning, both got a piece of it. Fife goes and gets it, and he's off and running. Spears the pass for Lobb, Wiedering.
Yeah, Rory looks up and says, well, why can't you kick it any better than that? That's a tough kick to make. I'd just be thankful that you've got Nathan Fife on your side, winning it out of the middle like that.
Jones to Stocker. Carlton taking a little bit of the heat out of it right now.
Yeah, and Walsh has died out to some degree. Sarong has equilibrated a bit there, whether or not it's because they're both playing on the wing and the ball hasn't been there, or...
Is it a big game? Alex Pearce. Raptor seeing him do well.
So Tucker looks up. He got told to head back. Logue hands it up. Wilson, Eddie Betts. He read his mind. He knew exactly what Griffin Logue was doing, but he almost stood off his man far enough to entice the handball.
And sometimes, Brian, I was looking up at the forward line. I mean, when you're looking short all the time, you're stuffing it up for the blokes up the ground who've made position, and they had.
Darcy wasted no time, just went and got it. Chera floats it wide to Akers. Being pursued. Collier being pursued. Tried to put the Jets on. Was he caught by the legs or ball?
Good chase.
Great chase down. I wouldn't call it a scientific game at the moment, Jared. There's not a lot of transferring the ball on the 45 and picking the eyes out of it down the middle. But it's entertaining and it's willful.
Eddie Betts.
Yeah, I agree, Durham. It's probably only inaccuracy from the Dockers that is costing them being more competitive, but Carlton was certainly on top in the first quarter. It's about 50-50 in this term.
Yeah, it's a very straight line contest. They will go around the back, you know, do the semicircle around defensive 50 like this, Dwayne. But from here, they're coming back this time. They're predominantly playing down the field in straight lines. So it's a game that's relying on contest. When the ball kicks forward, it's reliant on contest down the line.
This is good work. Found the one up the middle. Can they go again? Chera sitting there waiting.
That's a rarity. Go, son.
So Walker sees Chera. Has a bounce. He's got Walters long in space. He puts the Jets on. Gets there for the bounce. Stocker corrals him. Goes inside and he's missed his target. Jones gobbled it up.
It wasn't his best kick.
He had 3 or 4 opportunities to hit the chest of teammates and he missed them all. And now Dow is out for the Blues. Heads in the Casbolt direction. Pearce gets back to 2-on-2. Logue, Mackay, Pearce, Casbolt. Fremantle come up with it. Purely a little fumble. Tucker. Fife. So some poise now. Back to Tucker. Back to Fife. Brayshaw, he can go. No one comes at him initially. Put it in front of, or Jones had front spot on Tracy the whole time.
Hardly a perfect kick. It wasn't a bad option, just not delivered.
Tresky Seaton to Sard, who wanted to go, took that netball step and then held up Newman.
Both teams are getting more benefit, Dwayne, out of the piercing low dagger kick going inside than the high lob.
So 5 seconds left. And ball thumped toward the boundary. Still a second or two for something crazy here. Tossed in, barring a ridiculous free. It should be half-time. It is half-time. And we've got a contest. Fremantle win. They're in the 8 tonight. With 7 rounds left, they'll be in the 8. The Giants hold 8th spot now after taking it from Richmond earlier today. Along the line for both these teams. The Blues started brilliantly, opened up a 4-goal margin, and Fremantle, with the last 2 goals of the half, have cut it back to 12 at half-time. 7-2-44 for Fremantle, 4-8-32 in a game here at the MCG that was originally scheduled for Optus Stadium in Perth, but it's a Fremantle home game, and they're just starting to work their way into it. Both teams coming in with some winning form. Blues also a victory last week. Fremantle last week coming from behind to win, and we're going to have to do it again in this one tonight. They did trail by as much as 28 points. They trail by 12. Second half about to get underway at the MCG in fine conditions. And Cripps and Fife, the 2 superheroes side by side again for this bounce. De Koning, Darcy, ball flicked down. Mundy nearly had a piece of it. Sarong gets himself the clearance. Straight down the spine with the kick. Henry got there late. Jones got a fist on it. Stocker, quick fire handball. It's a wobbler out wide and a race on. A 2-on-2. Wilson engaged his opponent Fogarty, and he's content to see it out, Fogarty.
That was clever by Fogarty. Didn't accept the ball and then know he was going to get tackled to the ground. Worst case scenario, free kick, but stops it dead. Just gets an extra 15 metres or so for his team, gets it to the boundary and reload.
De Koning palms it straight down to Sarong, who's getting a bit of it early in this 3rd term. Sard with the speed, got there, took on Switkowski, flicked it inside. Nunes. Fremantle had the numbers on the wing, but nice front and square by Fogarty. Kerno, Cripps got his arms free and shook the tackle, and that's on the first. So free kick to Sarong.
Interesting thoughts on the battle between Walsh and Sarong. Thinking that they've won that battle.
Yeah.
Other was clearly in favour of Walsh in the first quarter. It was 8 possessions to 1. And probably was 50-50 in that term. But Sarong started really well in this particular term.
Yeah, Walsh 38 possessions last week, 37 in the game against Fremantle round 3 earlier this year. And only 9 to half-time. Ball flicked on towards Owies. Got it on to Dow. He's had an epic first half. There's a 1-on-2. It's Mackay against the 2. Pearce hands it out, and it's a downfield free kick.
That's frustration. Harry knows that Pearce has got him for height. He wasn't able to pluck it over the top like the time when Pearce wasn't back on him. So he's frustrating him.
Mundy was flicked away by Silvani. Mark's been paid. It's a possession footy for the Dockers.
Just on the replay too, it was Levi Casbolt who came in late as well.
So to Pearce to the open side. He's got Wilson short wide, but he went down the spine to Logue instead.
If they're brave, they can hit those targets. They come out wide again, though.
So Akers, he's got Switkowski over the top. Goes inside, Switkowski there for him still. Eddie hits him. Switkowski can go. Takes some time to assess the options. Back to Akers. Oh, he's almost smothered the kick. Went long, big fist. Jones Big set of knuckles on it. Henry the crumb, but he turned it over. Fife comes up with it somehow across the face of goal and a behind.
Yeah, Griffin Lowe, when he had that mark at centre half back, he had a couple of options up the middle of the ground. He never looked up there. Safe backman, they'll look outwards first opportunity they can.
Wiedering wide. Casbolt got rid of Logue and then didn't take the mark, and then may have turned it over. Handball into the congestion. Walsh tried to mop his mess up. Casbolt a second go at it. Fife somehow stripped, gone. Advantage paid. Curnow, Cripps, always on the overlap. And again, Mackay's the one on 3 here, so always had to wait. Nunes, Cripps. Now they've got players ahead of the ball. Always takes them on, looks inside for the handoff. Curnow, Nunes, Walsh. De Koning's pushed to the goal square. Mackay's down there too, and Cripps sees it off his hand and out, and he's a little spent.
The most effective kicks going inside forward 50 tonight have been the short jab 15 to 30 metre kicks that are out in front to the leading play. We know the Fremantle play back shoulder, and they will not give up that ground behind them, so you can always lead up on them as a starting point.
Darcy front spot down to Mundy, got his arms free and got a handball that travelled 30. Stocker, Wiedering, bends it in the Cripps direction. Good chest mark, looks inside. Fremantle getting players back in the holes. Cripps sits it up, hoping for a leaper. Great hands, amazing hands, and he was crunched, Mackay.
I'll tell you what, De Koning came in and pretty well pushed over Alex Pearce before the ball came down, and that's how Harry got that separation. Well done, good team play. You sacrifice your own chance at a disposal to give the big fella a go at it. You see there's Pearce getting up off his knees. That's De Koning who came in and took him to ground. Eyes from the umpire, other than just the man in front, is going to see that free kick.
He bends it
Oh, beautiful.
to perfection for the opening goal of the second half.
I reckon that man there is saying, didn't he see that?
Well,
So
we've had a lot of football,
have a look.
Fremantle.
Have a look here. I see De Koning run straight at Alex Pearce and pushes him over. That's a free kick. That's no eyes for the ball. You're running with the flight. Watch this here. He's stiff here, Alex Pearce. Good mark as well.
Yeah, nice goal, but as you said, Dermot, very stiff for Alex Pearce, but I didn't get the memo, but I think pushing the back has been abandoned as a rule.
Very good.
Back in the middle. Blues get a lucky one. Darcy and Casbolt this time to go at it. Darcy the early climb, palms it down to Fife, back against the grain. He hung an elbow out there for a little while. Early jump from Martin, got it down. Fogarty caught high.
Attacked the ball really hard, though. Good win. You're right, Dwayne. It looked nasty. Fortunately, it didn't connect. It's only a bumper bar, but they can be dangerous.
Curnow winds his way inside. Sends it long. Well, Mackay get a jump at it. Cripps did. Gathered his own crumb. Fed it to Martin. Chips it 3. Back in turn to Williamson. Across the face of goal from his boot. Back into the lineup. Tom Williamson this week. Hasn't kicked one this year.
We might love that up. That could be the shortest intended target by foot of all year.
4 metres.
I don't reckon it went 4 metres.
I'd love to see Paddy Cripps go forward, though, and play that tall target role as well.
Darcy jumps in. You know, the old rules, you didn't have to kick it 15. You could kick it 3 for a mark.
Old rules.
Way old rules. I'm glad they've changed a few of them over time. Cripps on the end of the Walsh pass. Missed him. Sarong picks it up. Heads in the Henry direction. Plowman an early climb. And he's plucked it like a dove in flight with one hand. Play on the umpire says for Newman.
Clever mark by Plowman.
Jones. Curnow. Takes his full allotment and sends it long. Casbolt might jump. He got there with Darcy getting a hand on it. Lowe flicks it to Ryan. Bewley bangs it to half forward. It's a 1-on-2. Lob is the one, and he outmarked them both. Brilliant grab. Heads in the Tracy direction, full forward. Got there, thumped away from him. Switkowski, Plowman. That looked a little high. It looked a lot high. Any higher would have missed him completely. And Switkowski to line up from the pocket.
What a good mark by Rory Lobb. 205 centimetre key forward. Comes up. He knows he's up against a serious quality backman in Jacob Wiedering. There's an extra man in support there. That's the area where it can break down.
He chipped it to Collier, who was left free, strangely enough.
They need a jump start here. The Fremantle Dockers, they just need some shock therapy, something to get them all super excited, up and willing for the next contest.
So the concentration on his face. You're right behind him at home, and he sprays that to the near side. He's been 50-50 as a goal kicker his entire career, and he's got 71 goals, 70 for career now.
And goal kicking has dogged the Dockers almost all season. I think I've heard you say a number of times, Wayne, how many games have the blinds have been more than the goals.
Cripps hands it over. Williamson. Fogarty.
He's flown for 3 marks, Paddy Cripps, in this quarter. That's the first one he's brought down, but he's looked really good on his run and launch.
Fogarty sends it long in the Mackay and Casbolt direction. Casbolt flies, can't mark it. Ace crumbs. Go to Tucker. Fed it inside. Brayshaw got his arms free as he was crunched. Sarong bangs it to Lobb. He's a 1-on-2 again. Wiedering threw out the toe. Switkowski with the Jets. What about the speed? Can he hit Schultz? A double grabber from Newman. Superb. Back to the defensive goal square to Jones.
Their key forwards are coming up so high. The only guys who can get back when they get past that half-forward line are the little fleet of foot guys, and they just don't have enough size.
He's turned it over. Walker, inside kick. And they should get one from the boot of Brayshaw here.
Yeah, you can't turn the ball over in that position and expect not to be scored against.
He was one pick ahead of Paddy Down, that 2017 draft. 2 ahead of Adam Chera, some of the young guns of the competition playing this evening. And Andrew Brayshaw nails his moment. Goal for goal to start this second half.
Dermot, you spoke about Brayshaw and Chera versus Dow and Walsh before the game. How have you seen the, not direct head-to-heads, but the influence of the
on the
forwards
game? Yeah, look, I think Dow and Walsh have been fantastic, but just in the last 5 minutes, we've just seen Brayshaw. He got the ball at half-back. We've seen him float in now. Yep. He's just started to insert himself into the game a little bit more. But this is the future for both these clubs.
Carlton opened up a big break on the Crows last week, and Crows got within a kick toward the end of the contest. Blues were able to steady up and win that one. 11 points the margin now after it was 28. De Koning and Lobb in the ruck. De Koning with the reach, but Mundy, Walsh came at him, worried him out of it a little. Curnow, touch play on. Silvani had to go. Gave it to Eddie Betts. Pops it to the top of the square. A hold. Mackay's ball.
Alex Pearce got the hands to the face. He knows he's done wrong there. That's the first time he's truly beaten him off the mark tonight. And he'll get a look at it on the big screen. Alex Pearce. Harry got the front spot. But the ball was just too close. It was going to get there too quickly. That's why he clawed on. If it had hang time, Pearce knows he's got closing speed. Look at this around the corner from 14 out.
from directly out. All the cool kids are doing it. He nails it.
Yeah, and those that haven't mastered the drop punt are also doing it, Dwayne. And I think just for his development and his capacity to be the best player he possibly can be, he needs to spend a summer just working on that drop punt.
So we have a look at it here. It's a real close kick. He knows that's falling to the front. He's given up front position already because that's where he plays. He plays the back shoulder because he's got closing speed. But that's dipping on him. That's why he claws on. Possibly could have jumped there, did it? He's a 2-metre tall man, Alex Pearce. A little thin.
Ever seen a hook kick from directly out, 25 out? But the times they are a-changing.
Paddy Cripps back on the ground. We'll just see whether he kicks the ball with his right foot. Hasn't to date in this term.
De Koning with the jump and the reach. And Kennedy with the soccer. Gets it to half forward. Walker should get there first. Eddie hunts him down to Pearce. Handball to himself and then caught. To Kennedy, to Cripps. Tried to shake the tackle. Back to Kennedy. Back to Eddie Betts. Rolls it. The chaos ball in the Fogarty direction. Couldn't get there. Wilson. And it's coming back. Martin.
Yeah, pressed up pretty high, the Carlton defence, and he'd just about go the journey with a torp here, but he'll tip it to the top of the square.
Pokes it to the pocket, and Silvani with the reach and the vertical leap takes a cracker.
Once again, the low piercing kick in on the Fremantle defence to the Carlton forwards, catches them out. They're prepared for the big long high ball. They're quite a big back line, aren't they, with Griffin Lowe down there. Ryan's he's listed at 186.7, but he's an overhead aerialist, and of course Alex Pearce is 200. So they are tall down there, so they will give you front position to lead up on.
For 2 in a row for Carlton and a 4-goal lead for the Blues.
That's a good goal.
Well, he's made it right for his own back here, Silvani. He is going to have to get to the ground early and do an hour's practice, Dwayne, before each and every game, because he nailed that one.
I'm not sure the high-performance team knew how many shots a goal he had pre-game, though. He had a lot.
Andrew Russell, he turned a blind eye.
Well, they might withdraw him if he does that again. Mightn't get through. They might think he mightn't get through the game. It was a very good mark. Good kick. Solid shot at goal. Not far off the spot on the ground.
Remember the first one? Very first one?
Not far off the spot on the ground where Father Stephen took mark of the year. It was about 25 further up.
And he was superb at both ends. Now Sauce, ball back in the middle. De Koning flies. Darcy against him, knocked it down to Chera, rolling the tackle, got it to Mundy, arms free, flicked it out nicely. Back to Brayshaw. Now Collier taken down. And not in the back, not holding the ball.
Patrick Cripps is down again behind play. He's severely hampered by that right ankle. He's had one kick this quarter. It was on his non-preferred foot. And also Levi Casbolt has been down into the rooms. He's now back up on the bench.
Thanks, Dal. Darcy to Akers. Didn't like what he had forward. Heads back to Walker. He pops it to a pretty good spot. Lob got up there. Couldn't bring the Sharon down. Collier, part of the C's, got a kick away, but it's wide. Eddie Betts lurking in the back pocket. There's a little chat to Michael Walters and get a ball in. So Darcy and De Koning again to go at it. In a good battle all night. Darcy with the bulk, and he rips it out of the air but lost it. Stolen back by Brayshaw. Found space where there wasn't much and bends it back. That's all class.
Well, it's a classic example here of two attacking players at a stoppage. Paddy Dow versus Brayshaw. They're both genetically built as ball watchers and ball winners. Dow's probably in this position, cast in the mindset of a defender, but he doesn't defend. He's side by side his man, and then he looks at the ball. And his man comes back to the ball, kicks one of the goals of the night.
What do you want from Paddy Dow there? It looked like he wasn't too. That's him, number 2.
Yep.
Brayshaw's pulled away. What do you want him to do?
I think he's got to be super defensive there.
Walk him in.
He's got to walk him in and don't let him. I mean, they were both playing the ball.
Yep.
And it's fine if Dow walks away with the ball, but in that position, he's playing Russian roulette, and the ball bounced to his opponent, and he didn't have body on him.
2 goals to Brayshaw, 1 to Dow. Both had a piece of that. Couldn't get away with it. Mundy feeds it further on. Brayshaw danced inside, handed it to Sarong. Heads wide towards Walters, a little too wide for Walters. Stocker bangs it long. Tucker read it well.
I'm a big fan of Sarong going on the inside. I know he's played on the wing, always makes the limitation on what you can do through the middle of the ground. He's had a roll, but inside I think he's as good as any of these young guys.
Aish to the lead of Lob. Awesome pass. So Rory Lobb, 3 goals, 2 against Collingwood last week. One of the heroes in that victory last week. This will test him. Looks like he likes his chances. For 2 in a row to the Dockers after the Blues kick 2 in a row. It's short, it's goal square. It's off knuckles through 4 behind.
It's a real stalemate in this third quarter, isn't it? Both teams have been inside their forward 57 times, 2-3 to 3-1. Brayshaw's really injected himself into the game. 2 goals this quarter, 5 possessions. He's winning the ball now.
Sard to Wiedering, then gave it back. Sard to Kennedy, who heads to the wing. Casbolt down there, used his body nicely. In fact, illegally, according to Griffin Logue. And now he's turned it over to Aish, who couldn't quite get the reach. And off his fingertips, Martin sees it out. So the gun midfielders surround De Koning and Darcy again. Mundy, speaking of the big guns, to Tucker. To Akers. Blasts it long. Tracy's the 1-on-2 here. Jones and Wiedering, and they combined beautifully. Jones knocked it to Wiedering, who wobbles it to the wing. Walker got there. He didn't have it. He was held. Bewley gets it in the end anyway. Gave it to Akers. Lob his target. Got up there. Great reach. Good hands.
Much better kick in. He had Tracy on a lead when he kicked inside 50 30 seconds ago, and he sat it on his head. He had all the space to the far side. Terrible kick. And then he turns around and pops one out in front of Rory Lobb and does kick it to pure advantage. Lobb's huge, long arms are able to drag that in.
So opposite side, but a little closer than the shot he had a few minutes ago. Gee, struck that well. That is a beautiful strike. Straight over the goal umpire's hat.
Rory Lobb has never kicked the ball better than that we've just seen there on screen. That was straight out of the centre of his boot. It faded slightly. It was magnificent.
Got to give it to Blake Acres here. That he's worked from the other side where he kicked it in 30 seconds before, and then worked to that side of the ground to kick it in again. And this is just, it's low percentage, but the strike on that.
So they just can't quite breach this 10.2 goal margin. They're playing better footy. Michael Walters is one down. They've got to find a way to get in. He's just touched it 4 times.
A couple of the kicks he's got made good position, and the kick's been too far out ahead, and he's dived to mark and can't cling on to it. Things have just worked against him, but he's just got to keep working at it.
10 points, the closest Fremantle have been since the opening quarter, as Mundy tries to get away with it. Fife tried the tap and go. Mundy picked it up, put it at Fife's feet. He still towed it towards half forward, and they'll win themselves a ball up.
Winning centre bounce clearances this quarter, pushing it forward out of the centre.
The Fife-Mundy duo versus the Cripps-Walsh duo. And the young guns are firing as well. Good smother on the Akers kick. Little slap out back to Akers from Walters was good. Here's Sarong's moment again. Time to spend it wisely. Heads toward goal from the pocket. And Plowman got a fist on it, but I'm not sure it scored.
Well, you don't get a possession with that little tap on from Michael Walters, but he's got himself involved.
Sean, keep the meter.
He's such a good player when he's on song. He can be the difference today.
So no score, a win for Fremantle. Ball in, forward pocket. Darcy, DeConing. Darcy almost, they'll do it again.
Gee, it was a shallow throw. That's real dangerous for the defending team. It allows the attacking team to run at it full pelt, and you're drawing in the back free kick.
Really fascinating battle this with Walsh and Sarong. Now Walsh is the defender and Sarong is the attacker.
Switkowski just couldn't get a boot on it. Through for a behind. Single figure margin now for the first time since the opening quarter.
Not one player in the other half of the ground.
Wiedering, Petrevski, Seaton. Good commitment from Switkowski and Kennedy. Flick from Ryan. Superb. Brayshaw rewards Ryan. Goes back to Darcy. Wiped his hands and his shorts. Took the mark. Looks around. He's got runners left, right and centre. Ryan plants his foot into it. Heads long. Tracy got up. Not the second grab. Lob out the back. Walters hasn't seen a lot of it yet, but boy, what a moment that was.
Well, it's great attack from Tracy. And then it was a really good release.
I think Rory got the ball at the end, didn't he?
Yeah, well, it was a great
Tracy
handball.
launches, doesn't he? He just,
I
I love the way he goes hard into the pack, into the aerial pack. There, bang. Yep. And there's Rory. Yeah, it's his little feed out.
Clever stuff on the boundary line from Ryan with a flick over the back and then the release, and Sonny Walters, he's a low possession player at the present time, playing mainly forward, but on that occasion he was in the right spot. 5 disposals, 1 goal. He needs another couple if his team are to get home.
Well, I tell you what, the Blues need a centre-bounce clearance. It's gone to the right of screen this quarter consistently. I don't know if they can hold them out if they don't start winning some footy here at the centre bounce.
Fremantle have never led in this game. Walsh thumps it to half forward. Wilson goes with a full set of knuckles, knocks it down to Aish, and he spears his way through them. Full of confidence, the Dockers now. Heads toward Tracy. Jones can't mark it. Sard can't run with it. Wrapped up, double teamed, ball up.
Well, Mundy's really lifted. Brayshaw's lifted. Sarong's having his best quarter by a long way. He's more proactive. He's had 8 possessions, 3 inside 50s.
Akers thumps it long. Henry front spot. Plowman did well. He edged him out. And it's down to a 2-point margin.
And Rory's taken 3 marks, and they're not just sideways chips, acceptances. They're key forward marks, some on the lead, a big fighting one on the other side. So they're starting to put a body together in terms of the way you want to play your football. Carlton have to get something rolling here.
Wiedering heads long. Gee, Sarong's down behind play. Casbolt not in the back according to the umpire. Sarong having a word to umpire Williamson. Tossed in the air. Darcy, Mundy playing some sort of game. Got a free kick for Hyde. Hands it up. Chera sees the lead. He set it on Tracy's head. Still got a hand on it. Stocker against the grain. Gets a Shepherd. Ran his full measure. Ryan facing the ball. And good thump toward the boundary and taken out by Logue after Pearce had a nice piece of it and held his ground.
Let's have a look and see if we captured this. Just... Oh, yeah, goes down pretty easy. That's... Jack Newnes just threw the arm across his chest there.
There's Sarong weaving his way through them, and a bullet pass. Not marked, though, this time by Tracy. Forced to lay a tackle. Mundy gets up early. Vintage Mundy.
Pick out lob.
Sends it in front of Lob. Big reach, can't mark. Ball to the back to Plowman.
Oh.
Boundary line his friend, and he knows it.
Well, they've got to start releasing the ball here, Carlton. They have really taken the back seat to the pressure, and Mundy and Sarong are putting them to the torch right now. much preferring the Sarong attacking the ball, playing it on its merits, not worrying as much about his man.
Walters, possession 6, it's a pretty good spot. Henry, almost, second attempt, kept it alive. Saad, he's barreled that around the boundary line and kept it alive. Curnow, still in. Silvani, Curnow to the wing. Crunch! It would have been a free kick anyway to Pearce, but he's taken out his own man accidentally, Harry Mackay, and Owi's taking a long time to get up. In the meantime, it's a 2-point game.
I reckon they missed a trick here, Durham. They may end up with a goal, but gee, they had 2 blokes on the ground, Carlton, and he went backwards.
Yeah. I reckon the umpires might have missed a real technical one too. There were 2 on the mark and one was moving around. He was lying on the ground though.
That's technical.
5.
Hey, stand. Play on.
They've got the momentum, but they don't have the lead.
Play on.
Well, if you think the game's being played in one half of the ground, you're absolutely on the money. It's 16 inside 50s to 7.
And every player in one half of the ground. Wilson heads long, lob, or Darcy!
Oh, great kick, great mark.
And this kick for the lead. And he's a pretty good shot at goal, Sean Darcy.
Bring him out, please. Thanks.
And he's a ruckman forward. Can play permanent forward. And you can tell by his eyes, he thinks he's got this covered. He backpedals. Wipes his hands on his shorts. Picture of concentration in the shadows of three-quarter time. Monstrous kick in the context of the game. That was for 4 goals in a row for Fremantle and the lead for the first time tonight, and he's missed it. 1-point game. David Teague, he's never lost a game to Fremantle. Second full season as coach for David Teague, second season as coach for Justin Longmuir. Kennedy flicks it out in the congestion. Chera, Switkowski, brace for contact. Stocker wrapped him up, took him down. Ball up.
Last 9 inside 50s to the Fremantle Dockers.
Just flung in the air. Fife and Mundy both there. Dow kept it in. Walsh hands it back. A wobbler. Aish pursues it. 34 seconds from three-quarter time.
They need a lift from their big men here, Carlton, as well, because Sean Darcy is imposing himself. Used to be a book that was legendary in AFL circles. The Big Men Fly, Dermot, just before your time, and the legendary figure was Achilles Jones. He used to kick wheat bags over silos, and that is Sean Darcy.
Henry off hands, rolls it, and missed it to the near side, and we're all tied up.
He possesses the pace just to put the afterburners on and run to the line and just dribble it from 1 metre out.
And no need to tell Fremantle fans, 8 goals, 15 again on the scoreboard. Dying seconds. Chera. Henry gets one last chance. He went to pass, seconds tick down. Wiedering does what Wiedering normally does. Holds it up. And the stage is set for a ripper finish to this one. MCG, Fremantle home game, a win, and the Dockers are inside the 8 tonight. And we're all tied up with a quarter left. 10-3 to 8-15.
At how big he is. He's a big man as well for a midfielder, 192 centimetres.
Yeah, 35 years young, David Mundy, still on track to break the Fremantle Games record later this season, coming off a 28 possession performance in a win last week, and he's been instrumental again in the comeback tonight. Ball knocked down to Sarong, and he gets the clearance early. Williamson gets back, saving mark for the Blues.
But I love the move. Him going inside has really been one of the key factors in them coming good here. Great to see him starting inside as well.
Jones hits out wide to Petreski-Seaton, and Fife floats in, can't mark it. Eddie Betts cut down by Brayshaw, nicely tackled. Sarong having a huge impact. Mundy having an amazing impact, bangs it to half forward. Bouncer, Tracy little knock on. Switkowski and Sard, two guys with the speed, can't keep it alive.
So the challenge now goes back to the midfield. It goes back to Walsh, and it goes back to Cripps and Curnow and Sam Petreski-Seaton and Paddy Dow. All the mids, they're getting flogged at the moment.
Mundy clears it, goal square, lob down there. Henry had a chance, Plowman knocked it. Henry to keep it in, and he can't get the bounce.
He's just so... He's got such a reach, Rory lob. Every time it goes in there, you can see the fear on the... Not for their safety, but the fear that Rory lob's long arms are going to mark the ball.
Fife and Cripps side by side. Sarong. Petreski-Seaton danced away from a tackle, heads toward Mackay.
He's pretty effective across this half-back line as the conduit.
Oh, turned it over to Fife.
That's what you get when you get a big forward marking the ball 60 metres out from defensive goal. He looks to bite off something that's not on.
We've got plenty of smalls. Just got to get it to ground.
To Lobb, who had the reach again. Walsh crumbed it. Wiedering bends it around. Can't keep it in. Free kick. Brayshaw's ball. And he may be just beyond his range.
So we're going to find out a bit about the Blues right now and their resilience, because they have lost momentum for a good 35 minutes. All last quarter, 5 minutes into this quarter. Somebody has to lift them up.
Pulls the kick. Darcy's down there. The fists come. Ball hits the deck. Walters towed it off the carpet. And it's wide, but it's through for a behind. And for the first time tonight, Fremantle lead. And the Carlton fans here at the MCG at this Fremantle home game trying to turn up the volume, inspire their guys. The kick in is good to Nunes.
It's a good kick,
wasn't it?
And given the ones that are turned over so far this quarter, that's a brave kick.
To Newman, heads out wide to Petreski-Seaton, didn't get it to him.
Oh, well, that's a bad kick.
Walters thumps it long. Well, shorts fly here. Lobb got the reach, Sard got the crumb. Plowman back to Sard, and he gets a chance to run for the first time tonight. He pokes the pass to Williamson. He has some room to move to. He ran in to three Dockers, and the pressure on the kick saw it turned over to Pearce. Full-chested, couldn't take possession. Walsh does to Mackay. Eddie Betts gets his moment. He popped the pass nicely into the waiting arms of Mark.
He's about 2 seasons too late to have a ping, a running ping at those goals. He just knew Eddie's legs in the fourth quarter isn't going to travel 55 metres at the end of a sprint.
Jack Martin was instrumental in Carlton's brilliant win, inspirational win last week against the Crows. This for the lead back for his Blues. Early stages, last quarter. Across the face, hasn't scored. And it's a behind, and we're all tied up again. And here's David Teague. 43% winning percentage. Justin Longmuir, 45% winning percentage. Two guys early in their coaching career. Long kick in the Acres direction. Can't take possession.
Well, Sarong's performance has been so impactful. It looks as if Curnow may well be going to...
Flicked over onto him. Liam Henry is the closest player to the Fremantle goals with a lot of room. If it turns into a foot race going Fremantle's way, I know who I'm going to back.
Fife tried to back out. Couldn't.
No, it's just temporary. Sarong now pushing back onto Walsh, and he has got right on top there.
Darcy used his bulk, gave it up. Akers gets on the end of it, hands to Mundy. Spear pass delightful to Tracy.
What a great kick.
Would have been tougher not to mark that.
What a great kick under pressure on your non-dominant. And caressed it. It was easy to mark in the end.
And why not give it back to him?
Well, they're set up for the big switch if they want it.
Got lobbed down the line. That's his safety out. Why not just bite one off inside for David Mundy?
So Mundy to Tucker to Ryan, and they're out to Logue on the open side. He's got a couple of options. Walker's short. Inside kick, just taking it on. Brayshaw.
Brave kick.
Lobs the long target. He heads to the pocket instead. Fifes up. Not the second grab. Schultz almost stole it from him and taken to the line.
Good transition. It was slow, it was steady.
They were in control.
They were.
They were never really challenged to lose possession then. It's on the Dockers' terms at the moment. Scores a level, but it's in the Dockers' hands.
Flick down in the Mundy Curnow direction. Krebs, 3-metre kick. Tresky, Seaton, Fogarty. Found some space where there wasn't a lot. Heads toward the wing. And Pearce held it long enough.
Well, they should be sighing with relief. He missed an easy tackle in the forward pocket. That could have easily transitioned to the other end of the ground.
Wilson pumps it. And Bowman's gone down.
He doesn't get a locky. It's the Plowman.
Chips it wide to Walsh.
It's hard to go the length of the field in this style of play. It needs a change of direction. You're not going to pick your way through this type of traffic.
Big fist of Aish, but he got it off his knuckles to the back, not forward. Kennedy to Cripps, to Kennedy, to Cripps, to Kennedy. Nicely worked. Eddie Betts is out the back. Will it get to him? Big fist of Ryan. Thumped it back outside. Defensive 50. Brayshaw pounced on it. Gave it to Ryan. Has a bounce. Open forward line. He's got Darcy. Who's got it?
Jeez, that's a good kick and a great mark.
His inside kick in the lob direction. Wiedering.
Yeah, he hooked the kick. Bad kick.
The fatigue is really setting in. The chasing on the turnover ball has dropped right off.
Blues fans are roaring. Levi gets on the end of it. Back into the lineup this week. He heads in the Kennedy direction. If he gets it, he can go. He got it. He does go. Mackay up. No mark. Martin, he fumbled it. It was there for him. Feeds it back. He missed Eddie Betts. Logue run down. Holding the ball. Was almost a trip.
Oh, this one's going to take another look at before we... Wow. He did have a little bit of time. He took some paces, so he did have prior. Did he land it properly? Did he turn him in the tackle?
Wow. And it's in the hands of Eddie Betts.
Is he going to go around the corner as well for you, Dwayne?
Probably. He'd back Eddie in here. Came into this game with 633 of them. 633, 340. And he delivers. Big game player in a big moment. Blues in front.
Well, the ball had been pinballing up and down, back and forth in between the arcs, and finally there was an inside 50 penetration. And Jack Martin luckily gets another opportunity. Gets it to the danger spot, and Logue is away.
Ooh, little trip. Was it a tangle of feet with teammates? Wasn't a fall in the back. It wasn't an in the back gone wrong. Yeah.
Yep, frustration.
Tangled feet.
Yep.
Was it?
Clipped the legs of the bloke in front of him. He was trying to evade, and Eddie fell on top.
It looked like Fogarty came in. He was that. He came in from a different angle, and he just clipped legs with him while going for the tackle, going for the ball.
So great goal against the trend here by the Blues.
Darcy to Koning. Darcy a secondary knock, but Kennedy pounced on it. Bangs it to half forward. Aish looked around to see who was coming. Hands it up to Logue, caught by Silvani. Chera, the pickup was superb. Was he out of play when he kicked it? Rolled it to the wing. Good tackle. Swikowski, good second tackle as well on Newman. Ball up.
That umpire was blindsided on the boundary line, and he could not see that ball was out by at least a foot.
Nick Dalsado, who's riding that boundary line for us. Back in the air, Darcy rips it out of the air, looks back and sees Aish. He plants his foot in it, downfield, and if Lobb takes this, he's within range. They're coming back. Wow. Aish to take it from the wing.
Unlike the one on Friday night. Well, there's somebody's
Free
right
kick.
back behind.
Yeah, Liam Henry has thrown Lockie Plowman to the ground.
So this is Carlton's ball. Eddie Betts can go. He's got Nunes running for him. Fremantle players haven't run back. Nunes has got a mark it on 50. Got it.
Yeah, that's
Just knocked away. No front contact and didn't hold it long enough. And the barrel marked on the wing. It's chaos.
Well, had Ryan all on the wing by himself, screaming for the footy.
Newman sets it up. Fremantle with the numbers to Koning. Got a few to beat. Wilson, Tucker, Sarong pick their way through the traffic with some poise there. Hands it up though, Chera. Pocket pick by Owies, who thought he was going to get it and go. Kennedy did get it, and they do go. Walsh, Cripps, missed his boot. Could have been ball. Probably should have been ball. Brayshaw's got it anyway. Bends it to the wing. This is a big ball to win. Walters.
That's a Shepherd.
And Newman. And a bouncer that rolls its way to the boundary.
Well, Sonny Walters shepherded the drop of that ball, and he didn't go at it, and the umpire let it run.
So Akers to take it.
Stroke of luck for the Dockers here.
They were due one after the Paddy Cripps tackle.
Oh, he sat on Ace's head. He had his pocket picked by Silvani. Fogarty. Silvani. Walsh. Back to Silvani. Danced his way inside. Passed off towards Owies. Can't mark it. Silvani gets his own crumb. Taken to the deck. Owies through the traffic. Kerno didn't want to have a crack at it. Petretsky, Seaton, Nunes. Bang! Akers got him. Dispossessed. Fogarty. 50 from goal. Hands it all the way back. Sard. Will he go for home? Runs to 50 and he barrels it. It's a wobbler. It's a tumbler. And it's through for a behind. So with 10.5 minutes left, it's out to a 7-point margin. But remember, the Dockers kicked the last 3 goals of the game last week, all in time on to beat Collingwood in an epic come-from-behind performance. And this man was a massive part of it, purely to Ryan. Still an eternity left. Shearer.
He hasn't looked sideways. He's got numbers to our side of the ground.
So heads to Aish. Brayshaw. With a short pass target, but he wants the long kick. He heads long. Schultz. Bump clear. Stocker. Heart and soul with that spoil.
Well, Darcy, is he going to come down and take that? No, Blake Akers. Blake Akers will take this one. Darcy's having a breather on the bench, restocking to just reload.
De Koning nearly. Dow, who was on fire early, rolls it outside defensive 50. Silvani, Aish, Walters, De Koning. From that crazy scramble, it rolls its way out. In fact, the umpire's called for a ball up before it went out of play. In fact, he's allowed it to be a ball in there.
Yeah.
He did call for a ball up. Boundary umpire's responsibility now. De Koning had the reach, front spot. Eddie Betts. Aish got a palm on it. A little roller through the legs of Pearce. Aish collects. Brayshaw, they go back to go forward. Eddie, a little push to the pants. Ryan. Wilson. He's got some space. Henry is target. Plowman. Henry. Dance back onto it beautifully, and he's away with speed. Eat my dust. Heads long. Forward pocket. Wiedering. What a grab. He took 12 intercept possessions last week to drag Carlton home. That could be massive for the Blues.
There's no big men out in the ground for the Blues. DeConning's on the bench. Mackay's on the bench taking a breather. There's no big long target down the line.
Owies slammed into the deck. Curnow just keeps on fighting. Silvani is caught. Somehow got it free. Walsh hemmed in. And it's out on the full.
If you're wondering why Silvani is making every contest, he's the only tall player forward of the footy, and he's working everything he's got just to make contest after contest. He's given everything at the moment.
Patrick Cripps is also caught on the bench as well to add to the big men. He's trying to get on. He's standing here just waiting, but the player's on the opposite side and can't get an interchange.
If you joined us late, Carlton did lead by as much as 28 points. They've conceded the lead and now got it back. Aish. Schultz. Saad got there. He made the ground and he got it out.
Trips will get on here.
Just too safe at the moment, Freo. When they're waiting for the perfect kick, they're taking so long to do it, they're telegraphing it. The likes of Saad.
Cripps is in.
Darcy with a back palm. Kennedy tried to squeeze it away. Little ricochet from Tucker's boot. Dow. Body on the line, but it was play on.
Good handle.
Kennedy got on the end of it. Aish about to fly. Big fist.
Great
Eddie
effort.
Betts. Great paddle forward. Fogarty caught high.
Well done, Eddie Betts. What a great effort, Dwayno. Little man between two big defenders. Brought it to ground. Pfeiffer's having a rest forward, just in the top of that shot there, almost to the centre circle, so he'll come back onto the ball at some stage soon.
Cripps couldn't get the run at it that he wanted. Darcy and Cripps tie up. Aish tried to fend off, and did he get him high? It's out of play. Ball to be tossed in. Less than 7 minutes remaining in a game that Fremantle need to win to be in the top 8 tonight. Back into play. Casbolt with a backhander. Mundy fighting hard. Cripps, Chera, ball up.
Got to keep running with Casbolt as long as you can on the ball. We saw that Darcy's bulk and size was just overpowering DeConning there for quite some time.
Walsh went down off the ball and toss it in.
Good decision. Well done.
Well, this is suiting Carlton a stalemate. They've got the lead. And they're more efficient at the moment, going inside forward 50.
That'll work off Mundy's boot. To Bewley, to Chera. Blues have an extra behind the ball. Lob with the reach. Can't mark it. Switkowski tried to pounce, and he towed it. Tracy on the run. Walters on the run. Saad got there. Just got a little hand in there in time. Wiedering's got it. Bangs it wide. It'll be coming back. Brayshaw.
Got the centre corridor.
The few inside the centre corridor calling for it as well. Ryan heads into the corridor. Pearce had to go, made the commitment. He's caught, he's in trouble. He got a kick away. Walker slipped.
Well, they have butchered that opportunity there, Fremantle. Too slow, too predictable. And the kicking has let them down. Trying to turn in big circles on that deck in there is treacherous.
Darcy gets his own clearance. Touch play on the call. Tracy wouldn't have been paid the mark anyway. Jones somehow came up with it to Petrevski-Seton. Fend off. Bounce on the slippery deck. Finds his target, Martin.
Moments like that, Bewley has to stick that tackle. Has to lay that tackle and hold him in that position.
5 minutes and counting. Heads long. Pearce is under it. Casbolt tries to claim the mark. Umpire told him to go. Lucky to get away with a kick. Curnow floats it. Silvani!
This could be The most important 10 minutes he's playing of his career. He has, look, the stats aren't through the roof, Jared, but his work rate in the last 10 minutes, Silvani, has been just sensational.
He's not a high possession winner, we know. But since he's done his hour of preparation, he has not missed.
Come on, Jack.
Hate to harp on it, but he did come into this game with 4 goals, 10 for the season. Spent the whole pre-game practicing for this moment. And he's missed to the near side.
His effort deserves a better reward than that. All right, saddle up. Go again, Jack boy.
8 points. And again, the Dockers kicked the last 3 goals of the game in the last 7 minutes last week to steal victory. Ryan heads out wide, nicely measured. Walker, Wilson, told to go. And is that out on the full? Collier, it is. The Blues get a huge break there.
For the first time for 30 minutes of footy, the Dockers just look a little bit on the back foot, look a little fatigued and tired.
It's almost as if Dermott have just decided to go careful after being really risky to get the lead, and then as soon as they got the 1 point in front, they've put the clutch in.
I reckon they can't take risks, they can't run to space. They look out on their feet.
Little back heel, didn't quite work. Fighting hard, Dow, went inside with the handoff. Fremantle come up with it though. Tracy edged out legally. Wiedering got there. Gave it up just in time. Newman wide. Some poise now from the Blues.
Got to push up hard here though, Fremantle. They have got to keep the ball inside this forward 50. Time is now the enemy.
Sends it wide. Casbolt can't get the run. He marked it anyway.
Still has the power to push on big Darcy. DeConing is so fatigued. You've got to keep going with big Levi now.
Gee, mongrels that forward, and Cripps good enough to mark it.
He can't go fast. All his teammates are up next to him. It's got to be short from here.
So Petrowski, Seaton to Martin.
Big Harry's
way through them.
Harry's in a one-on-one.
He's crept into the game again, Harry. He's up forward.
Sard. Spear pass, hoping for Harry. Through Harry's hands. Walsh at the back. Kept it in. A little roller. Big moment. Kennedy. Walsh. Bends it. Brilliant. This kid just keeps on rising. And that might be the biggest moment of his career so far.
Well, it's great conversion. He's battled in the second half, but he's lifted at the pivotal moment. I reckon Harry should have a look at the replay too and just give a more definitive lead at that particular time. It was only a sort of a half lead.
He waited till he thought the ball was going to be delivered.
Sard was looking for it. Sard is definitely kicking it to him. But in the end, it matters not. Great goal.
So entirely now the ball is in the court of the Fremantle Dockers. They need 3 accurate kicks. They've got to kick 3 goals to win it. Lose by 5 or win by 1 point. You just got to be all chips in now. Nathan Fyfe comes into the middle. Mundy into the middle.
Warding for the 6, 6 and 6. What a moment for Walsh. Turned 21 this week. Back in the middle. Cripps got it from Casbolt. Floats it over the top. Kennedy got it off just in time. Martin puts the Jets on for the sealer. Missed. Ryan with the kick in. The time is of the essence now. Straight down the spine. Hoping for Darcy. One-on-one with Casbolt. Ball knocked down. Dow, who started all this for the Blues, to Eddie Betts. Over Eddie's head. Oh, that's a win for the Blues. A big-time win for the Blues. 2 minutes left.
Positionally, tactically, that's a wonderful kick. They get to lock up now. They get to push up behind it, squeeze in, and just turn this into 2 minutes of packed football if they get their way.
Darcy, double-handed pat down. Fyfe through a picket fence of legs, couldn't get the handball through them. Ryan just spanks it to the midfield. Almost Walters, almost Plowman. Good lock-up tackle, holds it in, Switkowski.
And the Blues have got the deepest defender. They're holding an anchor, so they just can't grab it and blast.
2 minutes from jubilation, the Blues. Ball flicked down. Williamson back into the lineup, bursting through them. Hands to Martin. He's got Mackay long, or he's got Owie short. And time off the clock, as good as a goal.
That's an appeal. I reckon he's bobbled that. That's bounced off the ground. Umpire has not exactly been Johnny on the spot there. There's Robert O'Gorman is standing the mark there. Have a look here. This is on the chest. The next one.
15 gone.
Oh, that's dubious at best.
Gotta pay it. No?
Even when they hit the ground.
Do you think it did?
Yeah.
So Owie's in the meantime. The seconds tick down. Any struts. And it's to the near side, but Fremantle have missed their chance.
Just behind it.
They took the lead after trailing by 28 points, the Dockers, and just couldn't go on with it. Straight down the spine. Fife, the early rise, couldn't bring the mark down. Hits the deck. Casbolt tried to knock it out. Wiedering, who's been epic, bounced it inside 50. Wilson tries to get away from them. Brayshaw turns outside, but they don't know how long left. Back again to Brayshaw. Lob. Half volley. Brayshaw again. Bumped on the kick. Huge mark, Walters. Got some prime time, hang time late. Gave it up to Tucker. Floats it long inside 50. And almost a mark to Pearce. He got some hang time. Sard's got it. The seconds tick down. The Blues fans are about to go crazy at the MCG. 2 wins in a row for Carlton. And under David Teague, they've got their mojo back. Big moment for the Carlton Football Club. Big moment it was for Fremantle as well. They had a chance to be in the top 8 tonight. In the 8 with 7 rounds of the competition left. And they couldn't take their chance. The Giants hold on to 8th spot, and Carlton